Hello, welcome back to Vada. My name is Beast. Today we're back with Hoshizora no Memoria Eternal Heart. Again, sorry about forgetting to record yesterday. That is entirely on me. I'm a dumbass. Anyways. I already talked about how I got my hat on Christmas. I love this hat. It is a great hat. Uh, and also, I actually got gifted 2 games on Christmas. However, I can actually only play one of them because whoops, me clicking back onto the game went to the next line accidentally. But yeah, basically I was gifted Del Sagno, Dal Segno, I mean, and Little Busters, which I can play Little Busters, that's fine. However, Dal Segno is manga gamer, so that's off the fucking plate. But hey, one new game in the pool. And also, I managed to buy good old Giniro Haruka. Actually went out of my way to go to the actual DMM site and buy the fucking thing. Anyways, the sun hung low in the sky. The landscape was dyed with shades of scarlet. Wearing clothes of the same scarlet, we seemed to melt into the scenery as well. Asuka finally had a moment of respite, because at this time of day she could hide herself in the sunset. Because at this time of day she could hide herself in the sunset. It was the first time that day she'd been able to heave a sigh of relief, knowing she was safe. Was walking up the path to the lookout. The location being off limits must have also caused the promenade to be relatively deserted. As such, she has been using this place as her base of operations. That's right. On this day, was still remaining in Hibarigasaki. That's it all. She had not made any reports to the head shrine yet either. Furthermore, her opponents seemed to be almost entirely ignoring her. Why would they do that? Am I truly hesitating for some reason? Or is it because I still have work left undone in this town? At this point, she could only remember the geography of the area. In some places, even the land had become fuzzy in her memory. She figured that she must have left this town in her early childhood. But she remembered this wooded path from the shrine to the lookout, so it must have left a strong impression on her. Her childhood self must have known about that path. Just one of the memories she had forgotten. Yuma brushed away those nagging thoughts. The only objective is to send any astral spirits and astral deities back to the stars. She repeated that in her mind. That was the reason why she continued to hide herself in this town, waiting for the opportunity to finish that mission, waiting until she could secure her victory, waiting until she could slip past Kosume's bodyguard, Setsuna. Things were going according to her plan. She arrived at the fence and was on her way to examine the lookout. It was the place where she had first sighted the astral deity by the name of Mare. Such Ima had come back to that place several times, so that she could exterminate not only Kosume but also the other astral deity. Her plan was to hide nearby until it became night and then exterminate that astral deity without hesitation if she appeared alone. Because astral deities and astral spirits are both things that should not exist in this world. They are evil in the eyes of a Saint Tengu shrine maiden such as herself. Thoughts of that evil stimulated something in Ima's heart, pressing her forward. There was no guarantee that she would ever be dispatched to this town again if she returned to the head shrine now. So she had to do this now. That was how Ima could return peace in the truest sense of the word to her heart. Then it happened when she arrived at the lookout. Her heart started to thump rapidly. She knew that the opportunity was at hand. Sakaki Komomo stood there. She stood there alone and defenseless. Ima moved into the shrubbery so that she wouldn't be detected. Finally, at last she had the opportunity to outwit Setsuna. However, despite understanding her good luck in this moment, a touch of doubt flashed through her mind. The place was off limits, so was Komomo here alone? Perhaps it was a trap just like the night before, but he might have spelt those doubts. Kosume might have put herself in danger to lay such a trap, but Komomo wouldn't do such a thing. She had been kept away from the practices of the Seitengu. From what Ima had heard, that was Mayaka's doing. Perhaps Komomo wasn't even aware that Ima was in this land to hunt Kosame. That would make Komomo no different than any other normal schoolgirl. That was very irritating. That was a very irritating fact for the elders of Seitengu. Komomo was rumored to possess the greatest spiritual power of her generation, but Kosume's existence had turned into a bottleneck which prevented Komomo from understanding her own power. So Kosume was nothing more than a hindrance for the Seitengu. Ima took her holy relic in hand. She didn't make her move yet. She observed Komomo in silence. Komomo was wearing her uniform. She was likely on her way back from school. That uniform, with its color scheme dominated by red, was somewhat reminiscent of a shrine maiden's garb. Most likely looked like it was a shrine maiden waiting to rebuff Ima. Next, Ima surveyed her surroundings. There was no sign of other people. Because this place was off limits, people were unlikely to pass through, even though night had not yet fallen. Unless, like the shrine guard, Setsuna was also unlikely to interfere. There were no problems with the situation. On the contrary, it seemed unnatural how perfect it was. Still, she hesitated. Regardless whether the situation was a coincidence or somehow predetermined, it was still good fortune for Ima. Komomo's hair blew in the breeze. Komomo reached up with irritation to sweep away the bangs that had fallen in front of her face. That was the signal. Ima took that momentary distraction to leap out of the shadows. The gap was closed in an instant. Setsuna had called her slow, but she was much faster than any normal person. Komomo didn't move, so she had no time to react. The best she could do was to try and block the danger which had flashed out at her. The breeze calmed and all sound disappeared. In exchange, a tense atmosphere filled the air. Ima did not even breathe, and neither did her target. Neither of them dared to move a muscle. Just like that, their eyes met. Perhaps it was a long time that they stood like that. Perhaps it was only a fleeting moment. Komomo was the one who caught her breath first.
小ヶ坂くんが言った通りだったわね。次は私を狙ってくるって。あなたの本当の目的は私だって。
Komomo still didn't move. Ima's expression wasn't even phased, but inside her mind it was different. Why? Why doesn't she try to run away from
なぜあなたは穏やかなのですか？反応できなかったと言っても、今となっては取り乱すくらいはするでしょう。この矢は作り物ではありません。本物です。私があと一歩踏み込めば、この矢はあなたを貫きます。なのになぜ？
その必要がないからよ。逃げる必要なんてどこにもない。だって、この矢は飾りみたいなものじゃない。
だからこれは本物。
あなたは私を傷つけない。最初から分かっていたことなんだから。あなたの狙いは、私の悪夢を狩り、小雨を送り返すことでしょ？
Ima's face changed, and like Komomo, she could not mask her dismay.
消せません。それを知ったからとて、状況は何も変わりません。それともあなたは、これから私があなたの悪夢を買っても、問題にならないというのですか？小雨が、送り返されても、
そんなわけないじゃない。
ではなぜ、あなたは余裕でいられるのですか？
This wasn't like the trap that Kosuma had set. In this situation, Ima was still in a definite advantage. It was obvious that Kosuma was Komomo's nightmare. So Ima could perform a ritual of sending on the person who called the spirit. In doing so, she would pacify the spirit and return to its origin. Just like performing an exorcism on a person possessed by a demon, this ritual could be viewed as orthodox within the teaching of Shinto. So Komomo was correct. Ima had traveled to this land in search of Komomo, not Kosame. What was her intention from the very beginning? She targeted Kosume so persistently until this time so that all the attention would be placed on Kosume. The goal was to force Setsuna to stay by Kosume's side. She had succeeded in that goal. In actual fact, Setsuna was by Kosume's side at this moment. Setsuna had given up on chasing Ima at all, instead focusing her attention on Kosume alone. Setsuna had never even considered the threat to Komomo. Ima had carefully set up all the pieces to create this opportunity. That's why Komomo was completely defenseless at this moment. I have victory within my grasp. That was the thought within Ima's
あ
mind.
なたは玉送りの儀式を知っているのですね。
ええ。玉送りは怪我をさせたりとか、そういった危害を加える儀式じゃないってことくらいはね。
だからこの矢は飾りですか。
そうよ。
ですが、聖天宮の成り合いは、あなたには伏せていると聞き及んでいましたが。
もう、事情が変わっているのよ。だから、残念だったわね。あなたの企みは失敗したの。私が余裕って言うなら、それが理由よ。
だとしても、やはり。
まだわからないの？小雨はね、すでに私の悪夢じゃない。私が下ろした霊なんかじゃない。もう、一人の人間と何ら変わるところはないのよ。まあ、姿消したりとか、ちょっとした特技は身についちゃったみたいだけどね。
I couldn't believe
そ
it.
んなことが。
あったのよ。事実として。一度メアさん、星神に玉送りされたけど、小雨は帰らなかったんだから。
それが真実なら、それはもう恒例ではありません。精霊の儀とは別物です。それは、神下ろしの儀と呼ばれるものです。
そのあたりはどうでもいいけど、あなたが言うならそうなんじゃない？
信じられない。神の召喚なんて、歴代の巫女どころじゃない。歴代の神官。いえ、その力は現在の王冠主にも匹敵する。
私にはどうでもいいんだってば。興味なし。
Ima was at loss for words.
いい加減分かったでしょ？私は、あなたに対して無防備でもよかった。あなたは、あくまで私の悪夢を狩るだけだから、私に危害を加えない。そして私は、そもそも悪夢を持っていない。だから私は、こうして一人でも問題なかったのよ。小笠坂くんも、私を信じてくれたしね。
それでも、理解できない。腑に落ちません。怖いはずなのに。あなたが恐れないはずはないのに。こうして刃を向けられれば、どんな理屈があろうと、震えないはずがないのに。
怖いわ。当たり前のことじゃない。私は強がっているだけなんだから。
そう、それがあなたの力ですか。聖天宮一と噂される霊能力。その力は、外敵の鬼を退けるだけじゃない。自分に救う恐れや迷い、内にある鬼さえも退け、手なずけられる。
買いかぶりすぎだわ。みんなしてそうなんだから、それに手なずけるって、そんなつもりもないわ。
現にあなたは、神下ろしの儀によって招いた神霊を、好きなように刺激しています。
小雨は神や霊なんかじゃない。ましてや鬼なんかでもない。たった一人の、私の妹よ。
それが、手なずけていると言うんです。
言葉遊びをするつもりはないから。それより、いい加減この矢をどけてくれない？じゃないと、私の危機を察した誰かさんが黙っていないと思うから。
Yeah, that's right. So it took me so long. When I appeared at the lookout, Hisakaki looked surprised to see me, even though she was the one that called for me. Ima, who had been aiming her arrow at Hisakaki, pulled back the arrow and stepped away. However, there was still a gap which she could close in an instant. Hisakaki wasn't safe yet.
小笠坂くん、どうして？
Did you call for me?
呼んでない。だいたい、私を信じて一人にしたんじゃなかったの？
And who do you think I was?
足音が聞こえて、私はてっきり、小雨か、 小雨に頼まれた刹那先輩が来たとばかり、小雨と私は気持ちが通じるから。
I saw those two in town earlier.
そう。
She seemed dissatisfied with something.
小雨とあなたの気持ちが通じるのは道理です。霊ほどではないにしろ、神もまた術者に少なからず依存します。
だから、小雨は私の妹なんだってば。いろいろ通じるのは双子のせい。
They stepped in between Hizukaki and Ima as they bristled at each other. He thought they could act like a huge shield for her, but Hizukaki wasn't satisfied with that. He stood next to me instead of behind me. So that I'm not Kosame?
そうじゃない。小笠坂くんには小雨の件で借りがあるから。だから、なるべく頼りたくなかったのよ。
I'd heard from Hizukaki that she would be at the lookout that evening. But looking at the uniform she was still wearing, I wondered if she had been there since that afternoon, lying there alone in order to rebuff Ima. It was quite like Hizukaki to run off and try to do something crazy without relying on anyone else. That's why anyone would have felt the need to check up on her just to guide it.
でも、小笠坂くんが今ここに来ても、何にもならないような。
Sorry about that, unlike Kosame and Setsuna, I'm not that good at fighting.
小笠坂くんに期待してるのは、そんなのじゃないし、他のところでたくさん助けてもらってるし。
Hizukaki turned her cheek with a humph.
くすぐったいこと言わせないでよね。
Sorry about that.
なんで謝るのよ。
Because this time I'm gonna have to rely on your strength. Vraska's sick too. Honestly, I was originally intending to bring Asuka along too. I'd wanted for him to meet Ima and confirm it, whether or not Ima was his little sister. Ima still hadn't left. I'd heard that say Tengu Shrine Maids hated to be seen by ordinary people, so I expected her to run away immediately. But perhaps it was actually fortunate that she stood the faces down. Hey you! He was now looking at me and Hizukaki with a blank face. You know a boy by the name of Asuka Mirai?
知りません。
Carefully watched Ima's face as she spoke, but there was no change. I see, but let me apologize to you. Sorry for intruding in your business.
そうですね。
Bow and arrow still held tightly in Ima's hands was dyed scarlet with the setting sun. Even more than her shrine maiden outfit, the red on her weapon made me think.
手間が増えた分、あなたには謝ってもらわねば困ります。
Convenience me
これ
how?
から久垣小桃を人質に、久垣小雨を呼び出すつもりです。刹那を連れず、一人でここに来てもらうように。だから、あなたも彼女と同じように人質に。
You won't be able to do that.
あなたは、私から逃げられると思うのですか？
I don't intend to run.
刹那のように私を追い払うと。
That would be impossible with my
で
strength.
は、何のつもりで？
Ellen's tense enough. Look. Mare. Mare appeared behind Ima and she was certainly brandishing a scythe overhead. However, the scythe's trajectory did not intersect with Ima's body. Before the scythe could reach, it was knocked aside by the bow in Ima's hand.
だから何のつもりかと聞いたんです。この星神は一度目撃しています。そこの男が刺激していることは確認済みです。であれば、どこかに潜み、こうして牙を剥くことは簡単に予測でき。
ところがキッチョン。
Get fucked. A second scythe drew its arc through the air, and this time it found its mark in Ima's chest. Ima's body crumpled forward. Her hair billowed outward as she fell.
油断大敵です。
That fucking smug smile. Ren, who appeared a moment later than Mare, removed her scythe and leisurely hoisted it up on her shoulder. Ima collapsed onto the ground.
嘘、もう一人の星神。
Ren looked down at Ima's crumpled form, as if to say that the scythe would reap her flesh rather than her nightmares if she dared to get up and attack.
なんで、
バカバカな子が。
Mare was just as surprised as Ima.
これも小笠坂くんの作戦ってわけね。
Hizukaki was stunned.
この子、気を失ったようですね。
Ima's eyes had closed and she wasn't moving. Ima and Hizukaki went over and took the bow from her hands. There was no response.
気を失ったのは疲労のせいかもしれないわね。こんな子がたった一人で私たちに立ち向かって刹那先輩に捕まらないために宿泊場所も取ってなかったんでしょうし。
ヨウさん、
Then came over to me.
これでよろしかったですか？ヨウさん。
Yeah, sorry to trouble
いえ
you.、
お役に立てたのなら何よりです。星神とは、人の願い事を糧として生きているも同然ですから。
Then Ren's form disappeared. She probably returned to my father's house.
ヨウくん、あの子供にも頼んでたんだ。
Well, yeah.
私以外にも、お願いしてたんだ。
I wonder what was bothering her. I talked to Shino, who contacted my father, and that's how I ended up asking Ren for help with this
ヨウ
matter.
くんのお願い事、バカバカな子に取られた。
That's about what I would expect one of those astral deities to be worried about.
小笠坂くん、今彼女の悪夢を買ったのよね。
Yeah, ask Mare and Ren to do that.
小笠坂くんは彼女の悪夢を狩ることが目的だったの？
Nah, the goal was to protect you. However, I also wanted to reap Ima's nightmare in order to protect Kosume. Reaping nightmare is the same as Shinto ritual for sending off the spirits of the dead. It also holds the same symbolic meaning as giving offerings to the dead to appease their spirits. However, unlike the Shinto rituals to appease the dead, even a living person's spirit can be appeased by reaping their nightmares. It's similar to the modern practice in which a therapist helps a patient to work through their problems. That's the kind of service that N performed for Ima. It was her own fixation on astral deities that caused Ima to stubbornly remain here, trying to return Kosume to the stars. Perhaps it was even a personal grudge or hatred she felt. If that grudge was Ima's nightmare, then the correct choice was to remove it. Then she would no longer feel the need to carry on working for the State Tengu. I just had to hope that solution would also stop her from targeting Kosume any longer. It would also ensure Mare's safety. Ima's lips moved. For a second I thought she had woken up, but then realized that she hadn't.
偉いお兄ちゃん。
I see. So it was true.
ここ暗いよ。怖いよ。どこにいるの？お兄ちゃん。
それって。
Yeah, that confirms it. I ask her. Your gut instinct was wrong. I contacted Chino and asked her to send a taxi. Hisakaki gave the driver her own address, so he drove Ima to the Hisakaki residence. We decided to look after her there. Maka smiled wryly when she came out to greet me and Shino. Clearly, she wasn't too pleased about getting wrapped up in this quarrel. She wasn't too pleased about getting wrapped up in this quarrel with Seitengu. So we were hesitant to intrude on her hospitality any further than that. Left Ima with Mayaka and then went home. Car, I called Asuka with my cell phone, but he didn't pick up. Called Asuho too, but she said that he hadn't been in the cafe. I popped by to see her before dinner time.
今日は勉強会できなかっ
Are you helping out with the cafe?
た。本当は私もこももちゃんと一緒に展望台行きたかった。だけどこももちゃんに怒られて、私が来てもしょうがないとか言われて。
If anything, she would have gotten in the way. Hisakaki was worried about you.
こももちゃんも友達思いだもんね。尊敬できるくらい誠実だもんね。勉強もそうだけど、こももちゃんには何やってもかなわないな。
Hisakaki probably thought the same way. Surely she couldn't help but feel envious of Asuho's cooking. That's why those two were always fighting, but in a way you could say that's how they ended up being friends. Talking is hard.
それから、どうなったの？
In the end, they couldn't tell Oscar about his little sister. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I won't be able to tell him at school either. Maybe we'll have to ask Kisakaki to see if she can dig up his address.
それで解決？
Not sure. Yuma hasn't opened her eyes yet, either.
じゃあ、いつになったら解決？
I don't know.
私、まだ隠れてた方がいい？あさっての日曜はプールって聞いてたけど、私が一緒だと危険なら、我慢する。別に死神はプールなんか行かないけど。ようくん。
I promise you, mate. Promise that I'll take you to the pool. Just like you, I don't break my promises. You don't have to hold yourself back. You don't have to hold yourself back from doing fun things. Yeah. Change sitting positions. Mare was gazing at Yo's sleeping face. Yo was sleeping in his bed. It was still early. Outside, the sun was rising over the horizon, and opening the curtains would have allowed sunlight to shine into the room. If that happened, Mare's form would fade. It was always hard for her to maintain her form in the morning or afternoon hours. God, she visited Yo's room and checked whether he was sleeping because she couldn't wait until night. Because she wanted to be by Yo's side. She wanted him to pat her on the head like always.
ようくんなんか嫌い。
But Mira's words were defined even when he was asleep because she couldn't be honest with him
よう
about
く
her
んなん
feelings.
か大嫌い。
Thoughts of the night before floated through Mira's head. Told her that she didn't need to hold herself back from doing fun things. So Mira worked up her courage to come here. She decided not to hold herself back from coming here. She wanted more. She wanted all of Yokun's wishes. She wanted to grant all of them. She would have even given her life for him. What are these feelings? She wanted to desire him even more. She wanted him to desire her even more. Shooting stars don't only listen to the wishes that people make upon them. Those stars fall to earth so that they can grant the wishes that they heard.
ようくんなんか
Mira's face moved closer to the old sleeping face. What are these feelings? What is this urge? What am I trying to do? Her chest hurt. Her breath grew fast and hot. Her entire body felt hot. The pain in her heart made her wonder if she might just die.
ようくん
Then a moment later, Mira pressed her lips to Yo's. Mare jumped and moved away. Yo's eyes opened slightly, but Mare hid right away. Morning, huh? Yo hadn't noticed anything. He got up from bed and opened the curtains. Once the morning sun came into the room, Mare couldn't show herself anymore. Yo left the room. Mare could only watch him leave.
バカバカ
There was a heart-rending pain growing in her chest that dwarfed even her
よう
loneliness.
くんなんかやっぱり嫌い
Mare once again left the room through the window. She had decided to sleep for a while. The thumping in her chest was hard to bear. But there were some happy dreams waiting for her. She prayed that they would be happy. She prayed that the continuation of that earlier moment would be waiting for her when she woke up. It was afternoon by the time Emo woke up. Her head was fuzzy, and something in the pit of her chest stung when she saw an unfamiliar ceiling coming into view overhead. What is this pain? Was it caused by something from the past that I threw away? Maybe something like this happened in the distant past. Maybe I woke up at an unfamiliar ceiling like this before. She tried to remember, but then she immediately stopped herself. There was nothing for her to dig up. Consciously, she had already chosen not to dig it up. Perhaps it was that looming sense of dread which prevented.
気がつかれたようですね。体調はどう？今さん。
Hearing that voice, Ima looked around wildly. When she saw the two faces next to her, it made her jump, and she realized for the first time that a blanket had been laid over her. Where am I? They put me to bed? Swirling thoughts in her head made her intensely uncomfortable. Sudden movement had given her vertigo, and she couldn't move anymore.
もしかして、お腹空いてるんじゃない？何か持ってきた方がよろしいでしょうか？
Ima moved only her eyes to vigilantly watch Kumo and Kosuma as they fretted over her. She appeared to be waiting for her chance to strike.
妙なことしようとしてもダメよ。廊下に刹那先輩だっているんだから。それと、あなたの弓矢も刹那先輩が預かってるわ。
Her memory gradually grew clearer. Given that it was the middle of the day, she surmised that it was a memory of the day before. I'm sure that I attacked Hisakaki Kumo, and then someone I didn't recognize took me by surprise.
ここは私たちの家よ。今さんも何度か神社に来てたし、見たことあったんじゃない？
Ima went completely silent after that. Kumo and Kosuma looked at each other, unsure of what to do next.
お母さんを呼んできた方がいいでしょうか。その前に、今さんと話がしたい。聞きたいこともあるんだから。
Ima's expression grew more severe. Did they mean to propose another deal? Perhaps they think I owe them a favor for taking care of me?
今さん、あなた、野宿とかしてたんじゃない？体、結構汚れてたから。今さんが眠っている間に、私と姉さんで体を拭いたんですよ。一度、裸になってもらって。今さん、下着つけてないのね。上だけじゃなく下もだからびっくりしたわ。履いてない巫女さんですね。あなたは黙ってて。
Ima's brain had frozen up completely with shame.
今さん、和服だからなのか知らないけど、初育登場なんだから、ちゃんとつけた方がいいわよ。ホットケーキですか？ほっといてください。
Ima turned so red that they even started to feel bad for her.
なんだ、そういう顔もできるんじゃない。なんだかほっとしました。暖房が効きすぎているせいです。お風呂も使っていいですよ。銭湯には行ってましたから。だとしても、外で寝てたら意味ないわ。しかも、ひばりが崎の冬は厳しいのに。この季節に外で寝泊まりなんて、自殺行為と変わりません。別に、慣れてしまえばどうということは。どうということがあったから気絶したんじゃない。今さん、もうちょっと質問いい？お風呂入るならそっちが先でもいいけど。誰も入るなんて言ってません。それとも、何か食べますか？今さんはホットケーキをご所望のようですけど。言ってません。
Couldn't keep up with the pace of the conversation. It was too hard for her to keep her cool facade in this situation.
今さん、そんな無理してクールぶらなくていいわ。刹那先輩みたいに枯れちゃうわよ。本人が聞いたら怒りそうですね。とにかく、私から話すことは何もありません。私はあなた方の敵です。そのような余裕を持っていられるのも、今のうちです。
As they continued talking, she finally managed to return to her usual
私に
self.
とどめを刺さなかったのが、運の尽きでしたね。体力が戻ればすぐにでも、精霊ともども。履いてないのにですか？関係ありません。
She immediately blushed again.
落ち着いて、深呼吸すればきっと。この子、かわいいわね。戻ってきて、いつもの私。というか、それが本当のあなたなんじゃないの？あなた、過去を捨てたそうだけど、それって、昔を思い出したくないってこと？それとも、思い出を忘れたってこと？ だとしたら、記憶。戻ったんじゃない？
Ima's eyes popped open and her body froze. She had no words. There was no way that Komamon Kosume could have possibly known about her memories. As the conversation petered out, the two girls stood up. What? The other two girls stood up. Or at least Ima wasn't aggressive. She must have felt safe.
待ってて。何か食べるもの持ってくるから。
ホットケーキを焼いてあげますね。
Even after they left, Ima sat there dumbfounded for a while. There was one more person there peeking through the gap in the paper sliding door to keep an eye on her.
私は枯れてなどいないぞ。
Those whispered words didn't reach Ima's ears.
今さん、ホットケーキをお持ちしました。って、いないじゃない。おトイレでしょうか。いや、たったさっき、ここを出て行ったって、外に？ああ。どうして？彼女が望んだからだろう。節の先輩が見張ってたのに？そうなるな。まさか、わざと見逃したんですか？ああ、そうだ。どういうつもりですか？心配は無用だ。彼女の取り物である弓は依然、私が預かっている。そういうことじゃありません。もし彼女が総本社に戻って今回のことを報告。今さんは、すでにメアさんのことも把握しているようですからね。ますます小笠坂くんを巻き込んじゃうじゃない。それは杞憂だろう。念のため、電車やバスはこれから見張るつもりだが、本数は少ないですから、見張ることはたやすいでしょうけど。
刹那先輩、見逃したのは何か理由があったからですよね。
そうだな。実は、小笠坂陽から連絡があった。
小笠坂くんが？
君らがケーキを焼いている間、電話があったんだ。まやかさんが受け答えて、それを私にも聞かせた。そして、今に伝えた。ミルキーウェイで、兄が待っていると。ちゃんとその喫茶店の場所も教えておいたぞ。
そういえば、今朝私にも電話あったわ。アスカくんの住所教えてほしいって聞かれて、私から先生に問い合わせて調べてもらって。
では、今頃ミルキーウェイにアスカさんが？姉さん、待ってください。喫茶店に向かったか。世話しないことだ。さて、小笠坂陽の思惑通りにことが運ぶのかどうか。外れる方にかけた私は、駅で見張るしかないようだな。
No faith, this woman. Honest to God, I like to imagine that Como and Kosume just show up at the Milky Way, just like, is everyone alright? And it's just like on the ground, there's Ima crying while hugging Asuka. Meanwhile, Yo is just next to him, like reading a book. Oh, hey. Oh boy, I'm just letting them have their moment. Her breath came out as a white mist, melting away into the clouds in the sky. Was it even colder day than usual? It might have been a sign that snow was on its way. The first snow of the year was already past, but it had been too light to accumulate on the ground. This time of year, it wouldn't be strange if it did start to accumulate. In fact, it was more strange that it hadn't yet done so.
陽くんの息、白くなってる。
That's because it's cold today.
陽くんの手、ちょっと冷たい。
That's also because the air temperature is so low.
寒い。
And it's warm, so I'll be fine.
よかった。
We met up with Mare in the evening and we walked around the town together. Earlier that day, I had sent Asuka a text message. I told him to come to the Milky Way. I visited his house too, but he wasn't home. Felt kind of bad about leaving Asuka alone to watch for him at the cafe. I originally intended to wait there with her to see if Ima and Asuka showed up, but she said she would be fine by herself. Also scolded me, saying that I shouldn't miss my date with Mir, and she gave me a dirty look.
私、もうこの道覚えた。
I've walked this way a bunch of times. Do you know where we've headed to?
運河だと思う。
Good job.
カクのこと思い出した。
Mir squeezed my hand tightly. Squeezed back. Didn't originally have any destination in mind, but my feet naturally took me to the canal. That's when my phone rang.
電話
Nah, just a text. Looks like it's from Osho. Apparently Izakaki and Cosma had shown up at the cafe. Oscar and Ima still hadn't come. Apparently the three of them had decided to do a study group while waiting for the two to show up. Of course, the last message she sent was...
空、ちょっと曇ってきたみたい。
Oh, I closed my phone and followed Mir's gaze up to the sky. Still looks clear to me.
うっすらした雲が広がってる。
Her eyes are sharp as always.
私は死神だから。
If it gets really cloudy, maybe it'll snow.
そうしたら、星見できない？
If it's just a little snow, it should be fine.
ならよかった。
But we're not stargazing at the lookout tonight. I thought you already heard. Saturdays at the club is meeting up for a stargazing session.
それ、天来るの？
Yeah, so tonight we're stargazing at the school rooftop.
ようくん、だから制服着てたんだ。
Oh yeah? The Astro Club met up every Saturday for stargazing. Despite the recent events, the club members hadn't forgotten about that.
今夜は展望台、行かないの？
I wasn't planning on it, but do you prefer the lookout?
別に。
I wanna like the rooftop.
別にって言った。
How'd you like it? They hesitated for a moment.
だって、
She mumbled as she talked.
他に人がいると、肩車してもらえない。
She was saying that she wanted to get up on her shoulders again to look at the stars. But if one of the Astro Club was watching, they would think we looked like father and child. That's what she didn't want. Okay then, Mir, let's change our destination.
運河、やめるの？
Nope, let's go to the lookout instead. It would arrive right at dusk if we left right away. It wouldn't be completely dark, but we could at least see the brightest stars. Or would you rather go to the canal?
運河で肩車やったし、またいつでも行けるし。だから展望台がいい。
Alright, then it's settled. We decided to turn around. However, Mir still stood on that spot.
はあ、
Mir looked up at the sky again.
雪。
A single flake of snow floated down before the clouds appeared. That flake fell on Mir's hair and disappeared. The moisture of the wind blowing in from the canal told her that snow was on the way.
これは雪。
She tried to grab a flake which fell on the tip of her nose, but it melted before she could. Ima looked up at the sky, but it didn't look that cloudy. The sky was red, evening had come before she even realized it. The twilight was dazzling. Ima turned her face away from the sun, which seemed to be blaming her for something. She returned her gaze to the road she was walking down. It was the wooded path near her recent base of operations. A promenade which led up to the lookout. Just like the Izakaki sisters said, it had been rough for her to sleep outside in this season. Even though she insisted it was no big deal, her body was honest about the difficulties it faced. Even when she hid herself in the underbrush, she couldn't find any warm place to rest. Hiding from Setsun only added to her psychological stress, and as such, her fatigue had just continued to grow worse and worse. She only managed to endure it by holding this thought in her mind. The astral deity is evil. It is the root of all evil, which I must destroy. That's why Ima hesitated for a long moment before walking up this road. She didn't head to the Milky Way, because her objective lay at the end of this path.
もしもし、そこのお子さん。
Suddenly, she heard a voice from above. Ima still remembered that voice, so she was very calm. She silently brought her hand to her weapon. It was not like the relic bow, Setsun had taken that from her. Instead, Ima retrieved one arrow from the pack, or from the back of her pack, from the pack under her back. Oh, talking is hard. She had hidden these supplies here by the path. Even with just this, it will serve as the most basic sort of weapon.
また会いましたね。
The astral deity appeared just like she expected. Ima wanted to yell obscenities at her.
本当に何なのこの土地は。
It was unheard of for two astral deities to manifest in the same city. However, it was also an opportunity. Ima's objective was to return astral deities and astral spirits to the stars. That hadn't changed. After all this time, nothing had changed.
君、進む道を間違っているんじゃないですか？
何のことですか？
ミルキーウェイに向かうんじゃないんですか？
Hearing those words made her heart ache. That was the place where she had hidden away her memory.
なぜそのことを知っているのですか？
私は何でも知っています。諜報活動はお手の物です。
Surely the astral deities in the service of the main shrine were engaged in similar activities. After all, they could not only move faster than humans, but also disappear so as to avoid detection. Their one weakness was the extremely limited area in which they could move. A faraway town like Ibarigasaki would be out of reach unless one of the main shrine's meteorites was physically brought here by its bearer. As such, dispatching one of the main shrine's astral deities to take care of the issue in Ima's place would ultimately be very difficult. Ima widened her stance and brandished the arrow in her hand.
問答無用ですか？
She could still fire an arrow even without her bow. Rotation of her supple arm and shoulders should replace the bow's arch. Was a technique ingrained in her body by practicing the arch's eighth sutra. Talking is hard. Although it was inferior to the standing and kneeling forms of archery she had practiced, at this rate it would not miss its mark.
私を繰り返すつもりですか？
Ima didn't answer, however her intent was obvious. The astral deity had shown itself before her very eyes. Ridiculous though it seemed, that form appeared clearly before her. In other words, the astral deity had let its guard down. In this situation, she did not even need the light of a relic to return her opponent to the stars.
ミャーさんならまだしも、君程度の力では、私は送り返せないと思います。
言ってなさい。
No matter how her opponent set to confuse her, Ima would not be
残念
swayed.
でしたね。あなたの敗因、それは油断に尽きるでしょう。
The soundtrack has fucking SMT5 vibes.
履いてないくせに。
関係ありません。
As simple as that, she had been distracted.
履いてない。履いてない。
履いてなくても恥ずかしくないもん。
She was on the verge of
昨日
tears.
とは別人のようですね。
ざれ言を。
Her face was bright red as she glared. The arrowhead was still aimed right at
そ
the
れ
end.
では、戦意喪失したところで、ミルキーウェイへ行こうと行きましょう。
喪失してません。ゴーしません。あなた、
聞き分けのない子ですね。
これから、あなたを送り返します。
もう勝手にしてください。私は帰ります。
待ちなさい。送り返すと言ったでしょ。
Ima dug in her heels and flung the arrow at her opponent before she could disappear. Any onlooker would have sworn she was throwing a javelin. A flash of light hurled through the air towards it then. Then it did not move. She did not even make her form disappear, choosing instead to maintain her physical body. With nothing sturdier than a human's body, she allowed herself to remain as a single entity when she received that vicious blow. Ima's eyes, it appeared as if the arrow pierced straight through Ren's
残
chest.
念ですが、
Ima was astonished by what she
命
saw.
中しなかったようですね。
The arrow certainly struck Ren. However, it went straight through her as if passing through empty air. On the other side, a dull thud was heard as the arrow stuck into a tree.
なんで、私はあなたをはっきりと。 目視しているのに。
簡単な話じゃないですか。君の目視は、私にとっては、まだまだ原始に過ぎないということです。
The only emotion Ima could feel at that moment was confusion.
今の君は、私に触れることすら叶いません。私から君に触れることはできても、その逆は不可能です。しのさんやまやかさん、宗一郎くんに千尋くん、それどころか、ダメ人間の大河くんにすら、君は劣るということです。
At this point, she couldn't properly understand the meaning of the words she was hearing.
君はまだ未熟なんです。大切なものが何か、見えていないんですよ。人は、人が見えるものですら、よく見ようとしないんですから。
それごと。
In a race, she hurled another arrow. She released 2, 3 in a row. Just like the first shot, all of them passed through her opponent as if she was firing at a hologram.
そんな。
Ima reached back to grab another arrow.
キリがありませんね。
At that moment, Ima felt that her body had grown lighter. She paid no mind to that change. She intended to continue firing without stop until an arrow found its mark, because her target could disappear at any moment. Ima's hand reached behind her back and found nothing. There were no more arrows. The reason she felt lighter was because the arrows on her back had disappeared.
何が起こって。
私が拝借しました。ほんの少しだけ、時間を止めて。
Okay. Looking up, Ima saw the quiver of arrows in Naren's hands.
時間という物理量を操作するのは、疲れます。私のような高次元の存在ですら、この変数にゼロの値を代入するのは至難です。ですから、例えば時間を戻すような真似は、ほとんど奇跡に近いでしょう。できるとしたら、マイナスの値に愛された存在。ダメ人間。いえ、それ以上の、ダメ幽霊でなければ、クスクス。
Then that had already disappeared. Naturally, she took the arrows with her. For a long moment, Ima was simply dumbfounded. Snow had begun to fall by the time she finally snapped out of her stupor. Ima went to pick up the arrows which had been strewn all over the roadside when she threw them at the end. However, how pathetic.
許せない。
Her fingers wrapped tightly around one arrow that she picked up. The nails dug into her palm so hard that they drew blood.
みんな、許せないよ。
Things just can't be simple around here, huh? The fence came into view. At this point, the snow had been snowing in earnest for a little while already. The clouds had only started to grow thicker in the sky, but it felt like it would soon cover the entire sky. We should hurry, or else first stars of the night might get covered up.
ゆっくり歩きすぎた。
Maybe, but I wanted to take my time and walk slow.
どうして？
Because I want to hold your hand. We had held hands the entire time while walking through town. I still feel the warmth of Mare's small hand, even at this very moment.
私と手、繋いでたいの。
Yeah, is that obvious by now?
うん。だったら、いい考えがある。
What's that?
歩いてなくても、手を繋げばいい。
I see what you mean.
だから、星見してる時も手を繋ぐ。星見してない時も手を繋ぐ。
All the time then, right?
ずっと。
Mare moved a little closer to me. Her face was still turned away from me. And do you want to get up on my shoulders?
それもする。
Can I pat your head too?
どこかで繋がってれば、それでいい。
She wasn't only talking about us being connected physically, but also in an emotional sense. It was the kind of bond that we both desired. Let's go. Carry on your shoulder to the lookout. Carry you on my shoulders up to the lookout. I hope we can still see the first stars in the night.
私は目がいいから大丈夫。
Let me know if you see any. I want to stargaze with you. Falling snow made us feel a bit anxious as we circumvented the fence. Then, when we came back into the open, we met her once again. We weren't ready for it at all, because I thought for sure that you would be at the cafe. Ima stood there at the lookout. I never expected to find her here, so I was lost for words. Mare must have felt the same. Instead of saying anything, she tightened her grip on my hand. Her hand was faintly trembling. That made me remember my own duty, to protect Mare. To make sure that Mare came to no harm, regardless of what happened. Couldn't bear to see her get hurt anymore. Just like the two of us, Ima was also silent. The fatigue in her body was apparent. Even more apparent, though, was her strong determination. Icy cool under pressure, killing all her emotions and training herself to accept favors from no one. Just like I once did. It felt like I was looking at myself from the time when I forgot how to cry. Hey, you! You still have a grudge against the Astral deities? There was only one reason why Ima would come here. She woke up after the Sakaki sisters nursed her back to health, but she didn't head to the Milky Way. Rather, she chose to wait for us here. She chose to send off Mare instead.
これが最後の矢。私の最後の武器。これでそこの鬼を撃ちます。
Why? I had to ask. Weren't those emotions reaped from inside your heart? Wasn't your nightmare dispelled?
私にはわかりません。一つ言えるのは、私は捨てたはずの家族の記憶を取り戻したということ。そのために私は以前よりも増して、星神を憎んでいるということだけです。
Couldn't understand it. Could only wonder what Ima's nightmare actually was. Whether she actually had such a thing in the first place. Ren never told me that Ima didn't have a nightmare to reap. She certainly did reap some nightmare at the time. And this nightmare should have been dispelled.
思えば、私が聖天宮の手によって記憶をなくしたのは、それが悪夢だったからなのでしょう。子供の頃の私にとっては、家族の記憶が悪夢だった。だからそれ以外は覚えていた。私の生まれがひばりが崎であることや、地理を覚えていられたのは、そのためでしょう。私は、家族が好きでした。なのに、それを奪われた。最も大切だったそれだけを奪われたんで、星神によって、総本社が刺激する星神の手によって、私の悪夢は狩られ、そして、家族を失ったんです。
How long ago must that have been? The time when Ima must have been very young. Her family itself may have been her nightmare. Even though Ima said that she loved her family. That's exactly why. It finally made sense to me. Nightmare is another name for the contumacious existences in our lives. These things aren't limited to just demons and spirits, no matter who they are. There are things in life that you can't have the way you want, and those are your contumacious existences. So Ima's memories of her family were reaped. To the young Ima, her family was both a nightmare and a source of happy memories, because the center of a young child's world is their family. I understood that because in the past it was the same way. All the trouble, sadness, happiness, and smiles all come from the family. Yuma expanded my world, but until the first day we met, my family was everything in the world to me.
私は、家族を忘れていた。家族の思い出を長い間、忘れていた。せっかく取り戻しても、その記憶はもう所々がぼんやりして、知らないうちに、風化していて、ずっと、家族と離れてたから、思い出すこともなかったから、そのせいで、家族の顔も曖昧で、お兄ちゃんの顔も、よく思い出せなくて、だから分かった。私は記憶を取り戻しても、家族を失ったまま、何も、変わらない。だから、許せない。星神を、許せない。みんな、許せない。
I sheltered Mare behind my back. Ima could have leapt forward to attack at any moment. Before that happened, I want to say these words to her. It's okay for you to hate the astral deities. I survived this long alone because of those feelings. If you hadn't felt those feelings, you might not have been able to endure the loneliness. That's okay. I forgive you. Forgive you for hating the astral deities. But...
そこを、どいてください。
You can't do that?
でしたら、星神ともども、私の手にかかることになります。
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Because I'll forgive you. His expression flickered for the
どういう
first
つも
time.
りですか？
I'll forgive you for hating the astral deities. But I won't forgive you for harming Mare. I heard Mare
それ
gasp.
が、私を許したことになるのですか？
Who knows?
そこの星神の代わりに自分を殺せというのは、見当違いもいいところですよ。
So you already understand what I'm gonna say. But sadly enough, I'm a lovesick fool who has no other choice. Even if it makes no sense, I can't back down now. I can only think of one more strategy at this point. Continuing the conversation as long as possible, Mare could disappear while I acted as her shield. But if I indicated that plan to Mare, Hima would hear and attack right away. Was Hima faster or Mare? I didn't want to take such a dangerous gamble. Still holding Mare's hand, squeezed her hand tightly several times. Just prayed that Mare would intuit what I was asking. Then suddenly she hits me with her scythe. Ow! Why me?
違うの？
Of course, read the situation!
だって、ヨウくんがバカバカなことを思ってるから、私一人を逃がそうとか考えてるから。
Mare understood my message. That was my mistake. Telling a rebellious girl like Mare to run away would have the opposite effect.
ねえ、そこの巫女。
Mare stopped hiding behind me. She stood right beside me. So she was proclaiming that she wasn't just a little girl needing
聞
protection.
こえないの？そこの子供。
子供。
I was like putting gasoline on the fire of
あ
Hima's
な
rage.
たは、私を憎んでるの。
私は、星神を許せないだけ。
私はそんなのじゃなくて死神よ。
西洋では、そのように伝わっているというだけです。
別にそれでもいいけど。
先ほどの星神と同じで、あなたも油断しているようですが、逃げられる算段でもあるのでしょうか。たとえそうでも、私があなたを許すことはありません。この場をうまく切り抜けたとして、私が諦めることはありません。いつか必ず、私の手によって送り返します。
ふーん。
バカにして。
なんでそんなに私を憎みたがるの？
愚問です。私にはもうそれしかないから。いいえ。聖天宮の巫女として生きることになった時点で、それしか残されていなかったんです。私の役目は、星神を祀ること、鬼を撃ち、沈めること、それが私の生きる糧。それだけが、私の生のすべてだから。
じゃあ、それを失ったら、人は、そこまで弱い生き物なの？
命の話ではなく、死ぬも同然という意味です。この糧を失えば、私はきっと、何のために生きているのかわからなくなる。何もできない。無価値な人間になり下がる。それは、死も同じということです。
バカバカね。
バカにして。
And was it like this? As I watched the two of them talking, Hima looked like the childish one rather than Mare. She looked like a teenage girl with some sort of angst about her reason for living.
人は、何のために生きているのか。星は、何のために存在するのか。そんなことを悩むだなんて、時間がもったいないだけ。悩む必要なんて、どこにもないのに。星がただそこにあるだけで、誰かに見上げてもらえるのと同じで、命は、ただそこにあるだけで、誰かに許してもらえるのに、意味なんてなくても、誰かに許してもらえるのに。
This time, Mare was the one who squeezed my hand.
私だってもう、死神にこだわってない。ヨウくんがそばにいるから、あなたがいてくれるから、私もここにいていいって思えるんだから。
Mare.
いい加減にしてください。みんな、 私のことバカにして。
私の方がお姉さんだからしょうがない。だから、お姉さんの私も言う。私も、許すわ。ようくんと同じで、私もあなたを、許してあげる。
ざれ言。
Ima's foot dug into the earth. But before she could charge into us, a shadow darted out of the corner of my eye. Sup, Asuka? He pulled the lunging Ima into his arms. The arrow in Ima's hand grazed his stomach.
なあ、今、俺も、お前を許すぞ。俺は、お前を許すから。だからお前は、ここにいていい。俺のそばにいていいんだよ。
Couldn't tell you when Asuka showed up at the lookout. Or why he came to the lookout.
覚えてるか？それとも、忘れちまったか？ここには、俺たちの思い出があるんだ。
Ima didn't make any attempt to resist. The arrow which had injured Asuka then fell out of her hand. Dumbfounded, she went limp and let him hold her, as if her soul went out of her body.
昔の話だ。一度、この展望台まで、家族でハイキングに来たことがあったんだ。夢見坂からじゃなくて、遊歩道を歩いて、山登りも兼ねてな。だけどお前は、迷子になった。遊歩道を歩いている途中で、俺たちとはぐれたんだ。俺は、お前を探したよ。必死に。俺は兄貴なのに、まだ小さかったお前を、ほったらかしにしてたから、責任、感じてたんだろうな。暗くなってきた頃、やっとお前を見つけたんだ。こうやって、抱きしめてやったんだよ。今も、同じだ。俺は、やっとお前を見つけた。探して、ずっと、街中探して。そのうちに、昔のことを思い出して、喫茶店に顔出してから、すぐここに来た。そして、見つけた。こうして、捕まえられた。お前と、出会うことができたんだ。
ごめん。ごめんなさい。お兄ちゃん、勝手にはぐれて、私、自分勝手で、みんなに迷惑かけて、あの日も、私、学校帰りに寄り道して、そしたら、迷子になって、それで、知らない人に声かけられて、気がついたら、暗いところにいて、ここがどこなのか、わからなくて、何も、思い出せなくて。
いいんだよ。お前は悪くないんだよ。お前が、ここにいてくれるだけで、それだけで、それだけで、満たされる。だから、今、お帰り。
ただいま。お兄ちゃんが、言ってくれたから。ここにいていいって、言ってくれたから。
Then, when we all looked up, the night sky, which had been clouded over with snow before now, shone bright with the first stars of the night. So there's, we should probably, take care of the wound in his stomach.
遅くなって悪かったけど、やっと資料が届いたわ。
総本社からですか？
ええ。あっちには、私に味方してくれる新官もいるんだけど。
最近、まやかさんの影が薄いと思っていたら、一応仕事していたのですね。
影が薄いのはしょうがないわ。司令塔は表に出ないものだから。
あなたから指令を受けた覚えはありませんがね。
そんなものなくても、それぞれが自分で考え、自分で動く。みんなが優秀ってことよ。
では、優秀な部下を持って幸せですね。
部下じゃないわ。家族よ。もう異論はないよね。
それより、その資料で何が分かったのですか？
今がなぜ聖天宮の巫女となったのか。今の家系はね、関西にある有名なお寺で住職をしていたのよ。法術なんかを使うらしいわよ。聖天宮でいう霊能力みたいなものなんでしょうけど、聖天宮とは仲が悪いみたいね。上層部のごたごただから、このあたりは私たちにはあまり関係ないでしょうね。ただ、だいぶ昔に離職して、ひばりが崎に移り住んだ飛鳥家は、無関係でいられなかった。上層部は、最初から目をつけていたのかもしれない。それとも偶然、見つけたのかもしれない。この地で、飛鳥今という幼い少女を。昔、小桃が小雨を高齢したと分かってから、上層部は、揃いも揃って、私たちの神社に押しかけてきたわ。聖天宮も、一枚岩じゃないから。それぞれ、思惑があったみたいだけど、その時は、なんとか穏便に済ませられた。ひとまずは、私に一任ってことにしてね。だから、もしかしたらって思うのよ。今が総本社に所属した時期から見ても、一致する。上層部が、飛鳥家を目に留めたのは、この時かもしれないわ。そして、家族のうちの妹だけを連れ去った。
法術や霊能力といった力は、基本的に女の方が長けていますからね。
それも、処女だとね。総本社は派閥がそれぞれ力を欲している。王冠主の座をめぐってね。だから、こんな風に手段を選ばないこともある。小雨の件にしたって。
小雨を送り返すことで、姉である小桃の足かせを外し、自分の一派に抱き込もうという考えですか。吐き気がします。
小桃を聖天宮の生業から遠ざけていたのは、それを避けたいっていうのもあったんだけどね。今の話に戻るけど、さっきの予想が真実なら、今回の事件の発端は7年前になるわ。その頃の今は、ほんの小さな子供だったんでしょうね。抵抗もほとんどできなかったと思うわ。
総本社がそれほど腐っていたとは、正直信じられません。
どこの一派がやったのかは、今が従っている神官を調べればわかるでしょうけど。それと、今回の今の派遣で、飛鳥くんら家族に見つかることもないと、上層部は考えたんでしょ。聖天宮の巫女は、隠密行動が基本。一般人との接触は、極力避けようとする。それに、今自身も記憶がない。逆に、今が飛鳥くんらを見つけても、どうにもならない。
ですが、今は記憶を取り戻した。
そうね。蓮が買ったらしい、今の悪夢はおそらく、星神への憎しみじゃないわ。今が、記憶を失っていることだった。家族の思い出を失ったことが、今にとっての悪夢だった。だから、それを駆られた今は、すべてを思い出したんでしょうね。どこ行くの？まだ話は終わってないわ。今後、今をどうするのかを。
もう十分です。外で風に当たってきます。それでは。
そうね。ごめんなさい、刹那。あなたは、私たちとは違って、分社の出じゃない。総本社で育ってきた、巫女なのよね。そこで、玉送りの儀式を受けているのよね。失った何かが、あるのかもしれないのよね。
雪か。夕方から降り続いているが、明日は積もるのかもしれないな。
刹那先輩。
どうした？二人とも。また盗み聞きか？今の方はどうだ？
部屋で休んでいます。今は、アスカさんがそばについていますよ。
彼の傷の具合はどうだ？
お父さんが見てくれましたけど、軽傷だそうです。
そうか。なら、私の出る幕はもうないな。
自分のアパートに戻るんですか？
ああ。
でしたら、
Random thing that I just remembered. I started reading a manga again. And it's really fucking interesting. The manga is called Oshinoko, which the basic premise is that the MC is a doctor who took care of this girl for a very long time. And this girl was an extreme fan of this one idol called Komachi Ai. And through her, he actually became a fan of Ai as well. Mainly because after a while, sadly, the girl died at the age of 12. And like 4 years later, suddenly Komachi Ai announced that she's going on a hiatus due to health problems. And the day after that news came out, she suddenly showed up at his hospital with her manager with a pregnancy test. Turns out she had gotten pregnant with twins to top it off. So he decides, you know what? Fuck it, both as a doctor and as a fan, since she seems so happy to have these kids, I'll be supporting her as best as possible. But like a few days before the delivery, a crazed fan found out where she was staying and stabbed him to death. The next moment, he opened his eyes, and it turns out that he, for some reason, now was one of the twins that she gave birth to. And the girl that initially got him into into the idol world as a fan was his twin sister. And now this sounds like some absolutely retarded bullshit, like wish fulfillment shit. It gets so fucking good, weirdly enough. Like it gets really good. Like the first few chapters are just really like okay, yeah, like let down your guard, let down your guard, let down your guard. Shit is vaguely messed up in a way. I recommend y'all's read it as well, actually. It's really fucking good. Honest to God, I'll actually... should I? You know what, if you don't want spoilers, just like wait until... Just like see in the video bar down below when the text box is gonna come back. That's when you know spoilers will be over. So, spoilers now. The manga does hint at something happening for like the first few chapters in a way. Since it always skips to like them as the twins as adults, like these weird talk show TV kind of segments where they talk like these people used to know them, like now let's talk. And then one of them has the director of the talent agency that I worked for, and he was just washed up, completely done, just fishing, just like, no, stop talking to me. I don't want anything to do with the idol business after what happened anymore. So at that point, you already know it's like, oh, something's happening. And then it happens. The crazed fan that stabbed the MC at the start finds out where they live, rings the doorbell, and openly stabs her in the stomach in front of Aqua, which is the MC in his reborn form. His twin sister was called Ruby. He just openly stabs her because he thinks she's been betrayed. And I actually, reveals the fact that because of his devotion, she actually remembered his name. She even, still had, this bottle of Star Sand he gifted her at one handshake event. just as like a nice decoration in her room. And how, yes, she lied, but to her, she lied in a way, but to her, as someone who didn't know how to love someone properly, this kind of sweet lie in a way was her way of showing love. That is why she actually had also never openly stated that she loved the twins, because she was scared that if for the first time in her life she openly and honestly said she loved someone, all the other times when she said it as this little white lie would have become actual lies. And the fan immediately feels fucking disgusted with himself, runs off and kills himself. Aqua's just desperately calling for an ambulance, as he's just forced to watch not just his mother, not just the idol that he used to stand for, but also his actual fucking mother die there, because yeah, she doesn't make it. And on the other side of the door, Ruby's like desperately like knocking against the door, like, what's happening, is everyone okay? And finally the police comes. Ruby is like brought out without letting her look at the body. Like, they made sure that she isn't forced to see that, while he's still sitting in her embrace, feeling her body slowly but surely grow cold. And the next few years is just completely consumed by this thought of, this crazed fan was some painfully average loser with no special skills whatsoever. How did he not only find out the hospital, but also her residence so many years later? There is a high chance that someone gave him the information, but no one knew about this. Except I had messaged the father of the twins that they had never met the day before, because they were starting to have some weird misunderstanding about how they were born, because like, they're idol stands. They're gonna be fucking going a bit for Cocoa Puffs to protect the purity of the idol in their mind. So they were like jokingly discussing something. It wasn't really, they weren't really being serious. They just like kind of jokingly discussed something like, yes, Immaculate Conception, of course. So she decided to contact the father so they could at least see his face. And mysteriously, the day after, the same crazed fan finds them again and stabs the mother to death. So while Ruby is basically the entire time just... Of course, both of them immediately become mildly disgusted with the entertainment world. But while Ruby sees this as basically a challenge to where she will shine brightly enough for her mother as well as an idol, the MC becomes obsessed with finding out who his father is, who took that happiness from him, and making sure he suffers far more than he made I suffer. Which includes like stuff like in order to find out about his father, he basically accepts a deal where he has to appear in like this reality TV young star dating show, where he meets like a girl that after some drama happens and she decides to not like go up on stage as herself anymore, but actually make up a persona to protect herself a little bit mentally. And basically the joke's like, hey, the only one who doesn't have like the pairing in the series right now is her, Akane, and Aqua. So why don't you like model your personality after like a little something that he would be into? So he talks about like I guess. This is just kind of like offhanded comment. And the next day she shows up with a fucking impression of I. So good. He deadass like thought he saw the spirit of his fucking mother again. And it is like actually really disconcerting how well she's playing that. But to the point where in her research and trying to figure out how to play her, she fucking found out that she somehow had a child. And at that moment is like, okay, that is a useful tool that I cannot let get away. So at the finale of the reality TV dating show, he kissed her. He made sure a situation was right to where it was the natural conclusion, and kissed her, so they were officially dating, quote unquote, to the entertainment business. Because this is a useful person. She could find out about the child, which has never been stated. It has always been kept secret. No one is supposed to know that Komachi Ai had children. Yet she found out. And he was like, that is a useful tool. Fucking went for it. And that is so fucking interesting. Like, Jesus Christ. It is so good. Anyways, spoiler over. Let me just, open the menu to... There we go. Spoiler over.
これからテンクルの天体観測会に。
遠慮しよう。ひばり港に向かわなくていいのか？星はまだ見えているが、雪がひどくなると、天体観測もままならなくなるだろう。ではな。
待ってください、せつな先輩。頼みがあるんですけど。
なんだ？天体観測なら、断るだけ。
私は、力が欲しいんです。小雨を守れる力が欲しい。小雨が、ここにいてもいいって思えるくらいの。姉さん。小雨がもっと頼ってくれるくらい、私は強くなりたいんです。オカルトなんてありえないけど、小雨を守れる力なら、あり得るわ。私はそれを求めたい。そして、せつな先輩、あなたを追い越すわ。いつか、必ず。
そうか。
はい。
なら、楽しみに待つとしよう。
その間、小雨を守ってくれますか？
はあ。
小雨のそばにいてくれますか？
はあ。
その言葉、忘れないでください。
あ、約束しよう。
じゃあ決まりね。せつな先輩は、私たちの家で暮らすことに決まったわね。
Setsuna laughed. She was taken aback by Komomo's sudden declaration. Some in the back of her mind had to wonder if Komomo really could someday surpass her. So she could someday be strong enough to protect her sister, like Setsuna had done. Without ever leaving the town of Yubarigasaki. Even if studies drew her away from that town, Komomo would never leave Kosume's side. No matter what difficulty came up, Komomo's conviction to protect Kosame was evident. That moment dispelled the last bit of doubt in Setsuna's mind.
そうだな。私は、総本社も嫌いではないが、ここを第二の故郷にするのも、悪くないかもしれないな。
星、見えなくなっちゃった。
If we're talking just regular logic, the Call Lightning spell in D&D should probably not just be 3rd level, since it actively fucking messes with... since it technically actively messes not just with high and low pressure zones in the sky, but also with the charge in the sky. Which, that is some fucked up thing to do technically when it just comes to the amount of energy needed.
代わりに空が雪雲に覆われて。
Also, just to be safe, we brought the telescope back inside.
ありがとう。
Snow wasn't too bad earlier, so I thought it might clear up.
そうだね。でも、これがひばりが崎の冬だから。雪景色も、星空と同じくらい綺麗だしね。
Yep, I saw a blanket of white clouds covering the entire sky. I see stars, actually. There were as many snowflakes coming down as there are stars in the sky.
葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、雪積もったら、ちなみと雪だるまと雪合戦して遊ぼうね。雪ではしゃぐのは、犬とちなみさんだけで十分。
Naturally, my stupid sister showed up at the perfect time to ruin the moment.
ごめんなさい、遅くなったわ。
歩いているうちに雪が強くなってきましたけど。
だから今夜はこれでお開きだよ。
Sorry for making you walk all this way.
お互い様じゃない。むしろ帰りの方が憂鬱だわ。
電車が止まることはないと思いますけど、また駅まで歩くのが大変ですね。
坂で滑らないように気をつけなきゃ。
I did at least have an umbrella. The wind wasn't too strong, so I wouldn't get wet. How were Oscar and his sister?
どっちも心配いらないわ。
せつな先輩もアパートに戻らずに、二人の近くにいると言ってくれたんです。
In that case, I had no reason to stick my nose in their business any longer. What happened after that was for them to
メアさ
decide.
んには謝っておかなければいけませんね。
You don't need to worry about that. Also, don't forget that you can always ask me for help if you need.
そうね。差し当たっては、皆星さんの勉強かしら。今日はアスカくんたちの感動の再会じゃなくて、なぜか勉強会になっちゃったし。
麻生さん、アスカさんたちのことが気になって集中できていませんでしたからね。
それはひとまず決着したし、皆星さんは自分のことを頑張りなさい。小笠原くんに勉強教えてもらえばいいじゃない。ようちゃん、メアちゃんに取られちゃったし。
よしよし。
頭撫でて犬扱いしないで。あ、そういえば、メアさんは来てないのね。
He's not coming tonight. She was tired, so I told her to rest. Mare had been manifesting her form since before sunset, and even at night the starlight was still weak. As such, she had been put under a lot of stress. For Mara's sake, too, I didn't want her to push herself too hard.
約束したからね、葵ちゃん。明日はちなみと雪尽くしツアーにレッツゴー。レッツゴーはしない。他に予定もあるし。テスト勉強なら夜になってからちなみと一緒にやるべきだよ。妖精さんに教わりながらね。先輩方、ちなみさんが完全に忘れています。
She can't remember anything for longer than 3 days.
ちなみちゃん、明日はみんなでプールだよ。あ、思い出しました。
You can still go through with those plans despite the snow, since it was an indoor pool.
参加するのはこのメンバーに、メアさんとせつな先輩と、それと、鈴葉が加わります。
Yume couldn't come, but I planned to get a souvenir for her. It would be nice to go see her on the way home.
岡泉先輩は残念ですけど受験勉強で不参加です。今日も欠席ですし、
Yeah, they just
本
couldn't
人
get
も
a
残
hold
念
of
がっ
the
ていま
fucking
したけ
VA
ど。
anymore. I prayed for his sake that the alternative personality, Okaizumi Todo, hasn't taken over.
アスカくんも誘ってみるつもりだったんだけど。やめた方がいいんじゃない？
せっかくの兄弟水入らずですからね。
Surely would rather spend time with his sister instead of coming to the pool. Snow was getting heavier and heavier. This rain, it really was going to pile up on the ground by tomorrow. In that case, stargazing would be difficult tomorrow too. It would make it difficult for me to pick up Mare and look at up at the stars together. However, I knew that someday the long winter had to end. Spring was going back to Ibarigasaki. Spring was coming back to Ibarigasaki soon enough. That's where the name Ibarigasaki came from. In this region, there were always plenty of farm fields. The Hibari skylarks gathered here to hunt in those fields. Those birds were seen singing and flying through the air every year when the snow started to melt. Skylarks were the first sign that spring was coming. As I was thinking about that, a bird flew through the snowflakes in front of my eyes. Actually, it wasn't a bird. It was a dragon that had often burned my head. But the gun didn't participate in his master's stead. Perhaps he was here to bring us some good news. News about the coming spring. What had happened lately. But another sort of spring was coming as those events finally wound down. Then Maggie flew higher in the sky, higher up in the sky, disappearing among the clouds. No time for ending credits. I guess in the end it was good that I forgot to fucking record yesterday. Because that means I managed to fucking waste enough time. Because tomorrow Ginir Haruka's should be coming out with like the whole game except for the final route. But the final route we don't care about because that's was it Yuzuki? I think it was Yuzuki. The little sister. For some reason, I keep like messing up her name with Mitsuha, but Mitsuha is one of the good ones. Mitsuha isn't the little sister. Yuzuki is the little sister, right? Nothing going insane. Which is a likelihood, by the way. Random loss of sanity happens often. Anyways, after the night passed, the whole town glittered like white silver. Snow had stopped by the time I woke up, and the sky had cleared up, and had cleared enough that the sun could poke through the clouds. Those rays of sun filled the town with light. I gasped at the blanket of snow, which glinted with reflected sunbeams. Surprisingly enough, Jimmy had woken up early to go roll around in the snow outside the house. You're white here too. A group planned to meet in the afternoon. I walked over here because I had some time to kill. Mare wasn't there. She was still resting. We all gathered at the station, departed on train, but Mare planned to meet us at our destination later in the evening. The indoor pool was in the neighboring town. Due to the distance, I knew that Mare couldn't stay for long, but I just wanted to enjoy this experience with her, even if it couldn't last for long. We had exams coming up next week too. Today was our last chance to rest and get our minds off the exams. I'd call it the Izakaki household too. I heard from them that Asuka and his sister were headed to visit their family today. Asuka had to bring his little sister back to see their parents again after all. Then she was apparently going to return to the main shrine of Seitengu. They consulted with the Izakakis to make that decision. Never heard the details, but perhaps Ima was the one to make that decision. I wanted to do something to help him out. I would do whatever I could for a friend like Asuka. Oh, it's pretty crowded in here. After getting changed, I walked over to the poolside. It was crowded because it was Sunday. Seemed like the indoor pool was popular with everyone from families to with children to young couples. I waited for the girls to finish getting changed. I stood there, reading the information board. The facility also housed a water slide, a wave pool, and a sauna. There were enough activities to keep someone busy for a whole day.
Yo-chan! Omatase!
I think you're the first one to finish.
一番乗りはようちゃんじゃない。
You're the first out of all the girls. Didn't take long for a boy like me to get changed, but also was almost as quick as me.
私、服の下に水着着てきたから、それで早かったんだよ。ちなみと一緒ですね。
Chinami came trotting out
こもも
next.
ちゃんたちはまだ時間かかりそうだったけどね。葵ちゃんに言われましたよ。ノーブラノーパンで外に出れる度胸は賞賛に値するって。 水着が下着代わりだもん。
What are you gonna do on the way home then?
エッチ。
No, it's not like I care.
変態。
I shouldn't have said anything.
エッチ。
No, your body has no effect on me anyway.
変態。
What you say, huh?
アスホ先輩と態度が違いすぎだよ、お兄ちゃん。ちゃんと帰り用の下着も持ってきてるもん。
Well, that's good to hear.
プールって感じの匂い。海もいいけど、プールも気持ちよさそうだよね。お兄ちゃん、アスホ先輩。ちなみに、ウォータースライダー行ってくるね。
Wait up, we're not all here yet.
一番乗り。
Also, I'd already dived in the pool. It says no diving allowed right there.
はしゃいじゃって。ほんと子供ね。そんなこと言って、姉さんもうずうずしてますよ。
These gawky sisters make their debut next. Take your reaction images, screenshots right now. The anthem Setsuna stood there with a blush on her cheeks.
不本意だ。全く不本意だ。
She mumbled those resentful words.
小ヶ坂さん、刹那先輩はどうですか？
なんだ、どうとは。
Cosima picked out that swimsuit, right?
似合ってますか？
Is that murderous intent, I feel. I think it looks good.
宣戦布告か。
What do you mean? I was just complimenting you. That's not. You have a good figure.
うぬぼれるな。
Get away with what?
君は私の敵だ。
Conversation wasn't going anywhere good.
全く不本意だ。全く不本意だ。
She said, mumbling to herself again.
刹那先輩を着替えさせるの苦労したのよ。更衣室でも抵抗してましたから。
この私がこんな恥ずかしめを受けるなど、悪夢として勝ってもらわねば。
I decided to leave Setsuna alone for a while.
刹那先輩、こういうの慣れてなさそうだもんね。
Also got back out of the pool. I felt even more embarrassed when I caught myself staring at the drops of water sliding down her body. The ratio, guys, the girls is a bit weird here.
葵さんたちは？もうすぐ来るんじゃないかしら。みんな集まるまで、小ヶ坂さんがいつ狼さんに変身するか、かけましょうか。
Jeez, give me a
こ
break.
の中の誰を襲っちゃうか、かけましょうか。
Your teasing is going a bit too far.
賭けなんて意味ないわ。小ヶ坂くんの本命は最後に来るんだから。やっぱりメアちゃんなんだ。ロリコンは不治の病のようだし、小ヶ坂さんの絶好級ですからね。特殊能力は低め丸です。
They were saying all sorts of stuff about me, but I didn't have the energy to keep going with them.
お姉ちゃん、ちゃんと歩かないと危ないよ。
The Aoi sisters joined the group next.
葵さん、寝てる？電車でも眠そうだったわね。お姉ちゃん、朝が弱いですから。
That it was already past noon. At least she didn't show up late like the last time when we went to the beach.
葵ちゃん、着替えの時はちゃんとしてたよ。ここまで歩いてくるうちに、こうなっちゃって。お姉ちゃん、フラフラしながらどこ行くの？心も体もリフレッシュです。
She went over to the jacuzzi to relax. I just prayed that she wouldn't fall asleep and drown.
全く不本意だ。全く不本意だ。
全く不本意です。全く不本意です。
She mimicked Setsuna's complaints.
これ、泡がボコボコ。
Suza, is this your first time?
入ってみたら？結構気持ちいいよ。ちょっと怖いです。鈴葉ちゃん、だったらまずはウォータースライダーから攻めるべきだよ。いきなりですか？そっちの方が怖いような。大丈
two of them went off, holding hands.
そろそろ私たちも動きましょうか。時間がもったいないもんね。プールが終わったら勉強会もあることだし。
姉さん、向こうに波のプールがあるそうですよ。案内板に書いてありました。
There was also a pool with a sandy beach that was designed to stimulate the resort feeling.
へえ、なんか良さそうじゃない。
そこならオイルを塗ってもよろしいですよね。
よろしくないわよ。日焼けの心配ないし。
リゾート気分ということでダメですか？
ダメ。
小ヶ坂さんじゃないとダメ？
そういうダメじゃない。
では、せつな先輩。
迫るな。間違って切り捨てるかもしれん。
ここになぎなたはありませんよ。
試してみるか？
その手刀はチョップですか？
せつな先輩、えいってやってみてください。
えい。
小ヶ坂さんが伸びてしまいました。
せつな先輩のチョップは首の後ろなんですね。ようちゃんしっかり。
Open my eyes 10 seconds later. Why was I the target?
女子供に手をあげるわけにはいかないだろう。
Made me wonder what was wrong with that girl's head.
せつな先輩を追い越すのは険しそうね。
私の運動能力を言っているのなら間違いだ。君はそれよりも霊能力の扱いに重きを置くべきだろう。
Well, the fact that she doesn't have an issue with standing here in a swimsuit while you're over here like, I didn't agree to this, I didn't agree to this, does show that I think she has a bit more, like, mental strength than you.
そんなこと言われてもどうすればいいのか。
原則は自然との共生だ。降霊を成功させた時のことを思い出せ。祈りで無限状態。いわゆるトランス状態を作り、まずは自然と一体になれ。それから、超自然的な存在と交信しろ。そして力を借りればいい。そうすれば、君の運動能力だって、簡単に上乗せされる。
そんなオカルトありえないわ。
君はまず意識改革から始めないといけないな。
でないと、姉さんの才能は宝の持ち腐れですね。
君にはできれば、王冠主にでもなって、総本社も改革してほしいくらいなのだが。
それこそありえませんから。
神社の話だよね。
Probably. I wanted to crack a joke about them being in some battle manga, but,
心も体もリフレッシュです。
Holly drifted along the surface in the water, letting it carry her along. At least that part felt like a perfectly normal day.
ただいまー。怖かったけど、面白かったです。
Shinami and Suza came back to the group.
じゃあ今度はウォータースライダーにレッツゴー。またですか？次は違うコースだよ。さっきよりも長くて急で激しくて面白そうなスライダーだよ。
Setsuna was fidgeting for some reason.
せつな先輩、ウォータースライダーに興味あるんじゃない？
行ってみたいんですか？
そんなことはない。
It's okay if you want to come, you know.
うぬぼれるな。
せつな先輩も素直じゃないよね。鈴葉ちゃん、行こう。私、さっきのでも怖かったのに。ちなみと一緒ならへっちゃらだよ。ですけど、そのスライダーは身長制限があるんじゃないですか？
案内板には125センチ以上って書いてあるわね。
鈴葉ちゃんの身長は128センチです。よかったね、鈴葉ちゃん。ギリギリ OK だよ。
The thought of leading Suza and Shinami's hands was actually a bit worrisome. Setsuna, you ought to watch out with those two. Won't you go down the slide with them?
まあ、頼み事であればしょうがない。保護者として、ついて行ってみよう。
She looked happy about it.
この先輩、強そうだから安心だね。よろしくお願いします。
ああ、滑っている途中で何かあれば、君を抱えてプールサイドに降り立とう。
Don't do that, or the staff will get mad at us. The of them headed off.
心も体もリフレッシュです。
Yeah, you go and fucking refresh. Aoi was still floating.
姉さん、私たちもリゾート気分と参りましょうか。オイルは却下だからね。はい、ワクワク。
His cock sisters left, so it was just me and Aso standing there.
ようちゃん、私たちも泳ぐ？
Should we get warmed up first?
私、もうプール入ったよ。
Should still warm up.
融通きかないんだから。メアちゃんが来るまでは、ようちゃんにおもてなししてもらおっかな。
You've already seen my customer service skills at work, right? Alright, then why don't you make it into a contest?
いいよ、負けないから。
Hanging out with an energetic girl like Asa was bound to wear me out in no time. But we came here to have fun after all, so there was no reason to turn her down. It was a little later, but after I laid down to rest my exhausted body that Mare joined the group. It was early in the evening, around the time our dates usually started. Mare stood in front of me in her swimsuit.
ようくん、見つけた。
You see my point. Defrag was a weird fucking show. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, I've been waiting for you.
言われた通り、水着着てみた。
Yeah, it looks good on you. It was the second time seeing her in it, but the first time being that one other time. It made me blush just thinking about it. Mare's face had turned slightly red too. She looked around the area nervously. She then trotted over to me and clung to me.
ここ、すごく人が多い。
She hugged my arm as if she was trying to hide behind me. I could feel her body pressing up against me into her
よう
swimsuit.
くん、
Oh, don't mind me. Everyone teasing me about Mare earlier made me a bit self-conscious. Yeah, did you get a good rest?
うん。休みすぎた。起きたら、もうこんな時間だった。私、できたら、もっと早く来たかった。
You don't have to push yourself so hard.
だって私、もう隠れなくていいのよね。ようくんが守ってくれたから。
I didn't do anything. I needed help from friends like also at the Izakaki sisters to take care of the incident with Ima. To protect Mare as someone I love. So basically, I was just doing what I had to do.
私、頑張る。今度からは、もっとたくさんの時間、 ヨウくんと一緒にいられるように無理はしなくて、それが普通になるように頑張る。夢に負けないよう、私も努力する。
That fine attitude was exactly what I expected from
よ、
Mare.
ヨウくんなんかどうでもいいけど。
Come to expect those kinds of words too. What do you think of the pool? It's your first time, right?
人が多い。
Sure are. It's probably because it's the weekend. Because that Mare refused to leave my side. There was only a thin piece of fabric separating us. Don't think too hard about it.
それに、すごくうるさい。
Well, that's to be expected.
みんな何してるの？
Some are swimming, some are just
みんな
relaxing.
水に沈んでる。
Sounds bad if you say it like that. Look, some of them are floating too.
私もああすればいいの。
Yeah, I want to get in the pool.
入ってみる。
Diving is against the rules, so be
わ
careful.
かった。
Mare stepped away from me and walked over to the poolside. Just like that, she walked across the surface of the water. Wait! That's against the rules too!
そんなのどこにも書いてない。
They didn't think you had to write that rule down! No Jesus here!
どうすればいいの？わ
Just don't walk on the water, okay?
かった。
Then Mare walked on the bottom of the pool instead. Really hard just to let it end.
バカバカなこと一緒にしないで。
Fine, just come
プー
back.
ルって面倒。
From her actions, I could tell that Mare didn't comprehend the basic concept of swimming. Mare shook her head back and forth. Water droplets went flying.
濡れちゃった。
So at least that part is normal.
ブルブル。
Don't shake your head like a dog. Your hair is smacking me like a whip. This exchange made me feel some sort of deja vu. For a moment, an unfamiliar sight flashed through my mind's eye.
ヨウくん、
Sorry, I zoned out for a second there.
何か考えてたの？
Just a little.
頭撫でられた。
You want me to teach you how to
子
swim?
供扱い。
No, I just want you to have more fun.
泳ぐの楽しい？
I think it's fun.
教わってみてもいい？
Okay, then wait here for a
ど
second.
こ行くの？
I'll go borrow floaty. Just floating in the water was the first
ヨ
step.
ウくん、
When I walked off, Mare followed after me.
遠くに行くのダメ。
My arms were wrapped tight. Her arms were wrapped tightly around my waist.
人が多いからダメ。
Patted her on the head and then stuck out my hand. Let's go together. We can hold
こ
hands.
のままでもいい。
Is it hard to walk when you're hugging me?
私は大丈夫。
When I took a few steps, she could walk fine. Or rather, Mare's feet were sliding over the tiles. Is that some kind of acrobatic trick?
ダメ。
I guess fine. With Mare attached to my waist, I went to borrow floaty. Felt even closer to Mare than if we were holding hands. Only a thin layer of Mare's swimsuit separated us. That's how close
手
we
を
were.
つなぐのも肩車もこれも好き。
In a good mood, huh?
嬉しくない。
I guess I don't need to worry about you wandering off and getting lost.
私は子供じゃないわ。
That put a scowl on her face.
子供じゃないんだから。
The arms around my waist squeezed me. I got the floaty. I also paid Mare's admission fee. Didn't tell Mare that I paid for a ticket at the child's rate.
こんな感じ。
Right. That's a flutter kick.
なんだか変な感じ。
Pulled Mare's hand as she kicked her feet. By the way, this position was also problematic. At first, Mare only stood on top of the floaty. How does it feel now that you're actually in the
ちょっ
water?
と冷たい。
That's because it's a
お
pool.
風呂に入るのもこうするの？
I'll teach you about that next
こんな
time.
風に？
Yeah.
じゃあ、お風呂もヨウくんと一緒。
Yeah, no, wait, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, that was reasonable for two people to do if they're dating. Another unfamiliar image flashed in my mind's eye. I had to wonder where that memory came from. Perhaps it was a memory from the future. As if someone had told me that such a day would eventually come.
そういえば、お風呂は裸とか聞いた。
Mare looked
お風呂
embarrassed.
って水着だとダメなの。
Normally you're not supposed
じゃ
to.
あ、裸になるしかない。お風呂、
Balked.
楽しい？
Yeah, it definitely is.
じゃあ、ようくんと入ってみる。ようくんに洗ってもらう。洗いっこする。
That's a strange way of putting it. Mare's skin was beautiful without any particular washing, so that would only end up being more of a game than anything.
私、泳げてる？
Yeah, you're
でも、思ったんだけど、
But what?
この浮き輪っていうの、小さな子供しか使ってない。
I guess so.
私、子供じゃないのに。
It's just a coincidence. There's nothing wrong with an adult using one.
そうなの？心も体もリフレッシュです。
I just imagine her just like casually floating past them and both of them just like following her with their gaze. See? Oh, he was still floating. She was using a floaty. See? Just like that.
失礼な子は小さい子供だから真似したくない。
You can't swim if you get hung up on stuff like that. That would be a really childish thing to do.
じゃあ、頑張る。
Splash, splash, splash. Mare's body moved forward at a good pace, even though she didn't seem to be putting any effort into it. Mare, maybe you should go a little slower. I was afraid that you would end up headbutting me at this rate.
ようくん、向こうで私と同じことやってる子がいる。
You look like a parent and child. Must be teaching their kid how to swim.
私たちと同じ。
Yeah.
でも私たち、親子じゃない。
That's true.
こうしてると、あの子たちみたいに親子に見られるかもしれない。
Come on, that's not
肩
true.
車の時もそうだし。
Mare, no matter how you look at it, we're lovers. Probably. Also, God, I just wanted to be like, Mare, even if you were to think maybe they look like a father and child, I would like to think that I don't look old enough to have a child your age. That looks as old as you, I mean. I didn't say any more, since that answer seemed to make Mare happy. What other people thought wasn't as important as how we felt about it. And I want to protect that smile on Mare's face. I want to protect that moment together with Mare for as long as I could.
行くのか今。
はい。先ほどまやかさんにも告げました。私は一度総本社に戻ります。それが私の、このひばりが崎で与えられた新しい仕事です。いえ、仕事というと語弊があるかもしれません。私は、私の意志で、晴天宮と決着をつけます。職を辞すことを伝えに行きます。
それは、穏便に進むのか？
わかりません。
だったらさ、そんなの無視してもいいんじゃねえか？もう、ここに留まったっていいんじゃねえか？
いいえ、それは許されないんです。私が戻らなければ、総本社は勘ぐります。久垣家はますます危うくなります。だから、私の仕事は一つじゃない。どのくらいの助けになるのかわかりませんが、久垣家に関して、私は総本社を欺くつもりです。久垣家の方々が、この町で暮らせるよう、私は、力を尽くしてこようと思います。それが、最低限の義務だと思いますから。私もまた、 この地で暮らすための。
今、
ふるさとは、いいものですよね。自分の拠り所になるから、私も、晴天宮じゃない。このひばりが崎を、新しい拠り所にできるかもしれない。だって、ここには家族がいる。お父さんとお母さん、お兄ちゃんがいる。
今。なら俺も、やれることをやる。お前のために、できることをする。まずは、関西の本家に連絡を取ってみる。お前の力になってくれるかもしれない。
でも、
頼むから、一人だけで無茶しようとするな。お前はもう、頼っていいんだから。家族に頼っていいんだから。
はい、ありがとうございます。どうしたんですか？
さっきから、どうも他人行儀だなと思って。別にさ、敬語で話さなくていいんだぞ。
はい。
ま、少しずつ、慣れていけばいいさ。
私、戻ってくるから。必ず、戻ってくる。お兄ちゃんのところに、家族のところに。私の、帰るべき場所に。
ようくん、メア、いらっしゃい。
Yuma was standing at the window when we entered the hospital room. She must have been looking out at the sea. The water sparkled as the bright rays of the sun bounced off its surface. Here, how long are you gonna keep hiding? She kept holding my hand as we walked through the hall, but now she was behind my back. Rather, she was hugging my waist from behind.
メア、まだ病院は慣れない？
いいこと思いついたから。
どんなこと？
歩いてないときは、ようくんとこうする、手をつなぐよりも、感じる、いっぱい、ようくんを感じる。
メアが、ようくんに手ごめにされちゃった。
You really make me sound like a bad guy.
ようくんは子供がこのくらいの年になると牙を剥く。覚えておかないと。
It wasn't entirely clear what you planned on doing with that information, but I really didn't want her to look down on me like that.
ここ、光が眩しい。
私の病室、西側にあるから、この時間は特にそうだね。眩しかったら、カーテン閉めようか？
大丈夫。もうすぐ曇るから。
雲が見えるの？
夜は雪が降るかもしれない。
そっか。でも、夕方は晴れてるんだよね。
そうだと思う。
今は辛くない？
大丈夫。
でも、メアは太陽の光が苦手でしょ？
Mia was
前にも
surprised.
言ったよね。私、入院生活が長いから、いろんな患者さんと出会ってきた。だから、人の体調だって見ただけでわかるんだよ。平気そうにしてたってわかるんだよ。だからね、メア。
Yuma's kind voice seemed to make everything alright.
辛い時は、辛いって言うの。甘えたい時は、甘えるの。強がってばかりいないで、そうやって無理をして我慢ばかりしちゃ、ね、するよ。わかった？
違う。
え？
私は、無理してない。無理を普通にするために、努力してるだけ。だから、大丈夫。
そっか。
Look of admiration appeared on
メ
Yuma's
アは
face.
強くなったんだね。
夢に負けたくないだけ。星の光が苦手なのに、ひばりが崎の星空が好きって言える夢を、真似してるだけ。
Yuma listened without saying anything. She didn't chide Mare again. Perhaps Yuma knew she was in no position to chide Mare for trying to grow stronger.
二人とも座っていいよ。私もベッドに戻るから。
Yuma laid down on her bed again, and we sat down in the guest chairs. Yuma, today we went to the pool.
聞いてたよ。どうだった？
It was busy and unexpected. It It's because you can't swim in the pool too much during
ジェ
summer.
ットコースターみたいなのがあるんだよね。ウォータースライダーだっけ？
Yeah, Chinami spent the whole time riding it, and after he dragged Suzuha along, the poor girl's eyes were spinning.
怖い乗り物なんだね。私、プールも遊園地も行ったことないから。
私と同じ。
そっか。
でも、プールは初めてじゃなくなった。
そうだね。プール、楽しかった？楽しかったんだね。顔に書いてある。何して遊んだの？
ようくんに泳ぎを教えてもらってた。
泳げるようになった？そっか。よかったね。
夢も、すぐ泳げるようになる。
そうだったら。
絶対なる。そのために、これ買ってきた。
何？
Present from the pool. She handed Yume a paper bag. We opened it, revealing a fluid that was wrapped in
これ
vinyl.
を、私に？
Yeah, Mare and I picked it out together.
子供扱い。
やっぱり、浮き輪って子供だったんだ。
私は、ようくんよりお姉さんだよ。
私もお姉さんよ。
As if I was surrounded by nothing but mature adults.
メアよりもお姉さんだしね。
私の方がお姉さんよ。
子供だね。子供。
頭撫でられた。
浮き輪、大切にするよ。二人が選んでくれたんだから。そして、いつかは。
Yume hesitated for a moment, but then she said it clearly.
いつかは、これを使って泳ぎたい。病室から眺めるだけじゃなくて、二人と一緒に海に行きたいな。
Yume, I'll be looking forward to it.
私が泳ぎを教えてあげる。
浮き輪使って？じゃあ、私の目標は、ビーチチェアで寝そべりながら、ヨウくんをはべらすことだよ。
That has nothing to do with
私
floating.
は今日、浮き輪でヨウくんをはべらせた。
You guys don't have to get so competitive.
私も負けてられないな。
Mare and Yume were actually similar in a way. I don't mean their physical appearance, but rather something more fundamental to their personalities.
メア、幸せって何だと思う？
Yume's sudden question caused a blank look to appear on Mare's face. I know what it is.
じゃあ答えをどうぞ。
Happiness is hidden in that stubborn desire you have for other people to understand you.
外れだよ。答えはね、
Yume looked at Mare. Her eyes were always full of
死
affection.
神さんが愛を私にせかすこと。死神さんが愛を私にせかすこと。メアのおかげで私も頑張れるから。だからメアには負けないからね。
私も。
だったら私たちは一緒だね。ずっと一緒にヨウくんを好きでいられるね。
Yume,
ヨウくん、
whenever I got ahead of myself, it was always Yume who brought me back down to
私の
earth.
好きは友達の好きだからね。勘違いしちゃダメだぞ。
Yume still wanted me to rely on her as a friendly companion. However, whenever I got the wrong idea in my head, she always reprimanded me just like this. Honestly, I was no match for her.
それに、ヨウくんには小さな恋人さんもいるからね。
よく、わからない。夢も、ヨウくんのことが好きなのに。
メア、それじゃあ、約束しようか。それとも、約束交わすのは、まだ怖い？
私も、強くなりたいから、勇気、持ちたいから。
じゃあ、私たちは一緒に海で遊ぶこと。それだけじゃない。いつか必ず、三人で星見をすること。
約束。
これで、一緒だよ。きっと、いつまでも、永遠に。私たちは、ヨウくんのことが好きだから。
どうもやみそうもないな。
それどころか、雪は強くなる一方ですが。
傘を忘れたのが痛かったな。これだったら降り出した時に駅まで走った方がまだマシだった。
テストの作成は終わったんですよね。
うん。夜までかかってしまったけどな。
仕事ならまだあるじゃないですか。
何のことだ？
玄関で引き返してここで雨宿りしているのがその証じゃないんですか？
テンクルの部屋に寄ったのはここが居心地いいってだけだ。
居心地がいいなら顧問を引き受けてもいいんじゃないんですか？大河君がプラネタリウムを開発していたのは星をつかみたかったからですよね。計算だけじゃなく、この目で、自分の手で宇宙を欲したからですよね。
確かに、プラネタリウムは宇宙のアーカイブだ。宇宙に憧れ続けた人類の歴史の集大成だろうな。望遠鏡でしか見えない星も、そうすることで日常的に触れられる。星空を手に入れることができるんだ。
でしたら、テンクルの皆さんと一緒に、またプラネタリウムを作ってもいいんじゃないですか。
それは難しいさ。
なぜで、
俺は変わってしまったからな。
大河君は、ダメ人間のままだと思いますが。
お前と出会って変わったんだよ。
うん。
俺も最初はそうだった。宇宙を自分のものにしたくて、プラネタリウムを作っていた。だけど今は、そうじゃない。宇宙を自分じゃない誰かに見せたくて作ることに決めたんだ。
それは、どういう？
お前にも見せてやりたいってことだよ。テンクルのプラネタリウムじゃ俺には物足りないからな。そういう意味では自分のためになるか。だから、未だに科学館で投影機を整備しているんだ。放課後に時間が空けば改良だってしてるんだ。だから、顧問をやっている時間はない。感謝しろよ。今に、星のタイムマシンを完成させる。過去から未来まで、どんな時代の、どんな場所の星空だって旅できる。天の川銀河だけじゃない。超銀河団のどの星も映し出す。機械仕掛けの宇宙が次元をかけることさえ可能にする。それを見れば、お前だって思い出すさ。なくした思い出を、その手につかめる。お前が生まれた星も、取り戻せるさ。
大河君、余計な、お世話です。
どうだ？俺はやっぱり、天才だろ？
ダメ人間です。とっても。
この計画には、科学館が開館するっていう条件も必要なんだがな。運よく開館できても、採算が取れなくてまた閉館じゃ意味もない。館長になった誰かが、俺と違ってうまくやってくれるといいんだ。
大河君以外の人なら、きっと大丈夫です。大河君以上のダメ人間は、いませんから、私にとっては。
なあ、レン。雪、止んだんじゃないか。
本当です。それだけじゃない。隠れていたはずの星が、また、ようくん、これって。
Yeah. Maybe your wish came true. At some point, snow had stopped falling. Then it was starlight falling on our heads instead. Stars all resumed shining at the same time. The snow was still falling when Mare and I ate dinner. But then some time passed while we walked to the lookout together. We held hands as we walked, so it wasn't too cold. Eventually, and even now, it wasn't that cold since I was carrying Mare on my shoulders.
光が、たくさん、すごく、近い。
Mare slowly stretched out her hand. Extra height from sitting on my shoulders brought those stars just a little bit closer. Surely that light was within reach. Even a mere small hand could grasp it. Is that right? Watching over Ibarigaski for so long, was he also the one who granted our wish? Was he the one who gave Mare the starry sky?
行っちゃった。
I wondered if he would ever come back to see us again. If Maggie ever did come back, when would that be?
ようくん、この街で、ようくんと出会って、いろんなこと、あったと思う。いろんなこと、ようくんに教えてもらったと思う。楽しいことも、悲しいことも、だから、この気持ちが生まれたの。ようくんからもらった。この大きな思い。私一人じゃ抱えきれないから、ようくんにもあげたくなる。これからも、あげたくなる。ようくん、私、肩車されても、ようくんの恋人。私、ようくんのお嫁さんになれる。
Yeah. Always heard something sad in that kind of question. The same question of sadness that I heard in Yume's voice whenever I visited her hospital room. Couldn't bear to ever abandon them. By the way, either Mare or Yume. Because the three of us are
約
family.
束、私たちは、ずーっと一緒。私たち三人は、ずーっと一緒。ようくんは、私たちの彦星様、織姫も、娘星も、彦星に寄り添っている。それが、家族ってことなんだから。
Ah!
私たちの約束は、永遠だよ。ようくん。
Just let the twinkle of the stars and love becomes eternal. Immediately gonna just put my thoughts out there. That was really good. That was really lovely. A lot of lore, a lot of cute moments. I still personally don't agree with dating Mare. That's just me, though. Like it becomes an issue when it's literally a case of okay, she looks the way she does because of how the way your childhood crush looked back when she was, 6 or 7. There's just something, I don't know, bad about that. Very bad. Extremely bad. That's some of your best shit. So I still don't agree with dating Mare. Mare will always be daughter material, let's be honest. I don't agree with dating Mare. But yeah! That was Hoshizora no Memoria, Eternal Heart. I'm not doing Chinami's after. You can't fucking make me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and yeah. Next time we'll be starting with Giniro Haruka. Finally. I've been waiting for so fucking long. Whoo-wee. But yeah, if I had to say, Yume is like my absolute favorite at this point, and the game knows that's what it was trying to do. Yeah, by the way, hope you enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye-bye.